Hello out there, all you comic book, I don't know, collectors. Nothing witty to say. Hope you enjoy your weekend. We've had quite a lot going on here at, you know, uh, stately Howler Howler Manor, if you will. And I'm a little punchy, man. We had the pipe break. We've had a lot of snow. I've actually ended up doing quite a bit of work this weekend, which is fine, but it's sort of like I'm over relaxed now. Over relaxed now. Hello, John. And before we get into this haul and maybe some community talk, oh, it looks like we're going to be having internet issues. Oh my. Hold on, guys. I'm froze up. See what it's going to do. Here we go. All right. Be like John. Subscribe. Hit the bell. So you'll know that we're here. Let people know. And a couple days ago, I said 70 something percent of people watching my videos were not subbed. It's the other way around. I got to check my analytics, man. There are about 33 of you beautiful people out there who are not subbed. And I say it's gone down a little bit because I had a jump in subs the last couple days, and the more the better the party here, right? So make sure you're subscribed, jump in there. We want to show some things, right? All right, now I'm not going to be clicking on comments right yet. I just hit on John and it froze on me, so we'll see what's going on. But we got John Jones here. Hope you're safe, brother. One half of the country is ice, the other is fire. Absolutely. Yeah, we're doing well here. We are doing well. That's what I'm saying. A lot of work going on, but we're capable. You can't complain. We got food. We got a house. I had a pipe bust. I woke up into a half-inch pond in my downstairs, and it just barely inched here into the comic book room. Everything's cool. I mean, you know what I'm saying? We got it fixed. I'm doing some repairs tomorrow. I got a lot of stuff to haul off. We did get some damage. But you know what? It happens compared to the other what's going on in LA with the fires, from what I've seen and been able to see and stuff like that. I'm not going to complain. You know what I mean? What can you do? Things happen in life, man. All right. New universe poster behind. Oh yeah, thank you. Thank you. Here we go. Let's get that off there. Every time I click on this, it freezes up on my end. Thank you. So yeah, for a couple months, you guys have heard I'm reorganizing the comic book room. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. It's taking time, right? Well, this is one of the things I've accomplished, right? I've pulled out a bunch of these posters and things like that. That there is Peace, Necron 99, or whatever you want to call him, from Wizards, one of my favorite movies. I saw it in 1978 when I was 5. William Strouth signed that. Here's Con. Promotional stuff from Master City. I took that poster from a comic book shop in 1995. I didn't sign up to, usually you can sign your name to it. They'll call when you're done. No, I took it because it was Astro City. It was fantastic. Joe Sennett's signed print of Mephisto. As you can see, Darth Vader, Alex Ross, Killing Joke. That is an unfolded promotional poster from 1985-86 of the New Universe. Jonah Hex, the Minutemen from the movie Watchmen, if you will. Promotional poster for Sword of the Atom, Return of the Jedi, guys, the original poster. Postcard of Neil Gaiman's death, and one of my favorite stories, Batman related, Thrill Killers. That is a Dan Barrington promotional poster from, I think, 96. That is Robin and Batgirl. And there's half of Superman's torso from a stand-up that came from back when he got a stamp. And there's the other half of him. And he can hold a book in this. If you've watched me for years, I used to set him up and put the book I was reviewing and talking about in his hand, right? So yeah, this is some of the stuff I've gotten done. Eventually I'll paint the walls, but like I said, we've had a lot going on here. Great to see you guys, right? So like I said, with the storm, the winter storm that's outside and a few things going on and the coldness and everything, I won't be clicking on comments, but please comment. I'll be reading them and you can see them on the rewind, guys. All right, we got the great legend here. It was a community when we first met. Where the public schools. Yeah, I'll get to that talk, man. We're just going to do a little bit of talk. things that are different. Legend was there from the beginning, more or less. Weren't we, guys? You know what I mean? Weren't we, guys? Going way back, the great legend there, right? So let's show the haul. This is some stuff left over from Christmas and December, maybe one or two books I've shown before, right? So just to get to it, get on the haul, I got this at a con last month, so I'm pretty sure I probably showed it, but for $15, I got a, was it a $50, a $35 brand new hardback trade here of The Authority. This is issues 13 to 28, the Mark Miller years, Art Adams, Frank Quitely, I think some other people came on. Chris Weston, who's fantastic and underrated, but this is issues 13 to 29, the original volume one, The Authority. I have most of those, but that'll save me from reading. The wife got me these next three things for Christmas, man. And I got to tell you, I'm very excited, very happy to have these Tales from the Crypt archives. Okay, Dark Horse is putting out the fantastic EC Comics originals. These are the complete comics inside, 6 at a time. This is volume 2. I think I have 4 volumes now. And in this, we get issues 23 to 28 from the early 50s of Tales from the Crypt, complete issues, letter columns, and everything. And if you go through the letter columns, people were still political, people still trolled, and people were still picky, and people still loved what they were doing and stuff. It just blows my mind how 70 years ago, the more things changed, the more they stayed the same. She also got me this. This is volume 3. This prints Tales from the Crypt 23 to 29 to 34. Wally Wood. I mean, all these great guys, man. Joe Orlando, Al Williamson, one of my favorites because of his Flash Gordon work. Jack Davis, Al Feldstein, Joe Orlando, Wally Wood, all of them, man. All of those great guys. When I think of what the epitome of a comic would be, I think Will Eisner and I think EC Comics, right? So this is the good stuff, guys. These little anthology series, little one-shot stories with their little moral endings. I mean, I just get into these and I get lost, right? So I've got quite the little shelf of EC now that it's coming up. EC's always sort of eluded me, except for those little reprint magazines that I still have from the early 90s. So one of the things that I'm collecting is the Topps X-Files series, volume 1 from back in the day. And actually, it's so funny now that I've been messing around here. Hold on. Let me get my box of collectible TV guides here. But I keep telling, right on top. So I keep telling people, no, it's not on top. I keep telling people that X-Files #1 from Topps Comics was not the first appearance of the X-Files in comics, right? There's an insert in this very TV guide here that I've carried since it came out. I bought it because of it. And since the legend is here, let me throw you some Stone Cold Steve Austin there. But anyway, this is the first appearance of X-Files in comics. It has an insert in it, right? Facts matter, guys. The truth matters, right? And I'm getting quite the collection up, right? So I went ahead and found the last 2 issues on eBay because print runs get smaller, or at least they used to. So I figure since I saw these, and plus they were like $1, an odd number, like $1.29, number 40 of the X-Files series. This is not the series that adapts as adaptations of the TV show. These are brand new stories, right? And number 41 with a photo cover of the actual Fox Mulder and Gillian Anderson guys, Fox Mulder and Dana Scully, excuse me there, right? So yeah, with their smaller print runs, I went ahead and grabbed them because what's killing me on eBay that why I don't play around with it so much is simply because the shipping will kill you now. I got some great deals. Like everything I'm showing you was less than $2 that I got off of eBay. So what is this? There we go. What we got here? Okay, Meyer Greenblatt has come in yelling at the great legend. Great Legend says, would love to get weird science or weird fantasy in that format. Got them upstairs, brother, and they're good. And each trade is about $20, but you know me, I can get on Amazon, eBay, and other things, other places. $13, $14 is what I paid for most of them. What got me started is at Heroes Con last year, there was a table that had $10 hardback trades, $5 softcover trades, and that's all they dealt in. And they gave me two of the Shock Suspense Stories Dark Horse trades for $5, both for $5. Just gave me a deal like that. Now, George Perez, we know that I took his passing pretty hard. As soon as he announced that he had terminal cancer, it hit me pretty hard. You know, I'm always going to have appreciation. I grew up with the guy in comics. I got to meet him in 2013, right? So imagine my surprise when for $1.29 on eBay, we got a 2006's trade where they were collecting the Wonder Woman issues of George Perez back in, what was it, 87? Those came out. Started out with Lynn Wein. George Perez co-plotting. Eventually, he took over the book, and this kind of picks up around where I'm missing some issues. I think this is 20 to 25 or something. Yeah, Wonder Woman 20 to 24 in that annual number 1. My annual is garbage that I have of this and stuff, right? So I couldn't pass that up. And from the same seller, I got this for 99 cents, guys, right? Look how thick this is, right? But I'm really thinking about doing a video explaining Marvel Saga to everybody. They put out 2 of these trades, these essentials, collecting the 25 issues of Marvel Saga that came out in 1986. And what they did is they went through all the comics, okay, patched up each pages, and they give you a chronological history of the Marvel Universe, leading from Fantastic Four number 1, but they backed up and explained everything before that. They filled in the gaps where Alpha Flight was actually going on during the Silver Age, even though we didn't see them until the Bronze Age and such, right? But anyway, anything that happened in chronological order in the Marvel history and universe, they put in 25 issues leading up to the coming of Galactus, and they covered things like Mary Jane, a little bit of Gwen Stacy and stuff, right? So these are the issues, 13 to 25. And I forgot that Essentials are in black and white. But that's fine because I have 23 of the 25 issues, and I've carried most of that runs from 1986 going into 87 when I was in 7th grade, because I got in trouble in a math class for talking, and you had to write something like an 11-page paper on any topic you wanted. So during my study hall, I would do a page a day to turn into, or on Marvel Saga following it. So then when it came, I got my 11 pages in, I got in trouble again, and I was like, I wasn't talking. Well, she made me write 11 more pages on the Marvel Universe following Marvel Saga. This is one of the reasons I know my trivia and my history and stuff, right? Years later, I meet that math teacher in a bar in the late 90s. Now that I'm older, I asked her what was up with that, and she said, I just wanted to hear the rest of the story. She admitted to lying about me getting in trouble because she wanted to know about the Marvel Universe, guys. All right, man, we've got people popping in. Yeah, we're just moving along. We'll get to the topic here. Is this going to let me move it without messing it up? All right, everybody's here. Austin 316. Well, we got Breen is here. Dark Horse is currently reprinting the entire EC library. Right on. New title every month or show. $20 retail. Best deal in comics at the moment. Agreed. Yeah, he's talking to Legend. Prime Collector 1 is here. What's up? Gretzky is here. Good to see you guys. Maybe I need to move to Sunday afternoons instead of Sunday morning, man. Everybody's up and about. Victor Shade, yes, good evening. Zinc Age Comics, good evening. Great to see everybody. Not a question, just a typo, okay. Guys, I stuck this in the stack by accident here, right? This is the 5th volume of my Akira set that, again, my wife got this, the box set of Akira last year, and I'm on the 5th book out of 6, and this thing is a masterpiece, guys. I have been saving it. I got past the 3rd volume, took a break over the summer, and I'm just devouring it as we go through. That's one of the reasons I'm not online 24 hours and stuff here, is I'm reading those things. Another thing I got for Christmas, and I never thought I'd see the day. Now, the ambush bug figure, yeah, not a big surprise. I have to get it. I was there. This is the original 4th wall breaker, guys. Okay. You know, Ambush Bug, the miniseries, I was there. Keith Giffen, the whole thing. I still have those books, the stocking stuffers. One of the best comics you can ever read is DC Comics Presents, where it is Superman and the Legion of Substitute Heroes, because Ambush Bug stows away, gets caught up in the cape of Superman right when he starts flying to the future, and now we have Erwin Schwab running around with the Legion of Substitute Heroes trying to catch him, and Superman just having a migraine from how annoying it is. But what gets me about the Ambush Bug figure is that we get his sidekick, Cheeks the doll. They did it, man. We got Cheeks. I never ever would have guessed in with a million allowed tries that we would ever get a DC Comics featured Cheeks action figure, guys. That's so cool. So that is actually one of my favorite collectibles now in the house. Okay. Keith Giffen, yeah, Happy New Year, Doom Space Machine. Great to Marine, Doom Space Marine. Thank you. Sepper 5, brother. Gotcha. And Prob One Collector, Keith Giffen. That's right. Now I had to get this, right? So one of the things I'll kind of touch on, there's room for everything when you collect. All right. There's a time to flip. There's a time to do speculation. There's a time to get a key. There's a time to read your comics. There's a time to do runs. There's times where you follow one of your favorite creators, right, or artists, both, whatever, right? But what is so great, the positive thing spin about people waiting to hear what comics they need to chase off these channels instead of thinking for themselves, is the fact that you can get little keys that you want for nothing because nobody is chasing them. People haven't been told to, right? So this is the first appearance of Killraven, War of the Worlds. I went through my comics, Amazing Adventures. I have quite a few of these, and I'm like, it's time just to finish the run. I have the War of the Worlds Killraven graphic novel with amazing artwork by P. Craig Russell, who'll come onto this book later, 50 years ago, right? So yeah, I got the first appearance of Killraven. If you follow me on Instagram, Howler Mouse on Instagram, most of the time it automatically uploads on the rewind in the description box. You'll see some of these things before I show them, knowing that they're coming and things. And I always try to get an appropriate song to post with the Instagram, right? So we have that, right? So love that Killraven run. Amazing stuff. The Library 88. Right. I've gone through some of my comics. I've been rearranging things from long boxes to short boxes. I've gotten them organized. I posted a great Jim Starlin cover a couple weeks ago from that run when I went through it. And I'm like, it's time. It's time just to finish that up. Found this at Ollie's, right? Cheap at Ollie's. Cheap, right? I am a fan of Disney, guys, but for some reason, I seem to be a fan of things from. Now, there's some oddities in there. Don't get me wrong. Rescuers, I'm down with. Robin Hood, I'm down with. I saw Jungle Book in the theater when I was a kid because they would release these things and stuff in the theaters. Oh God, what else? I don't want to go blank. I remember it was a double feature. I saw Grease in the movie before that was a Disney movie, probably Jungle Book, right? But from Peter Pan on back, that is my era of Disney, right? The backgrounds painted in gouache. You know what I mean? Each Disney movie had a little bit of a style, and they were innovative and stuff before they started really recycling their animation sales. You always had two people dancing the same dance for a while and things like that, right? But this is from the 1951. I think it's when it came from, Alice in Wonderland. This shows the art in it, and it tells you the story how Walt Disney wanted to get that glare off of there. How he'd been infatuated with Through the Looking Glass since he was a kid, and how this was actually a flop, and how people in England, when it premiered there, were like, "You ruined a classic" and everything, right? So what's really cool about this is that this book, I think I paid $7 for this, comes with the Blu-ray of Alice in Wonderland. I don't know if I have the Blu-ray, folks, okay, but I do have the Alice in Wonderland, and it comes with the movie poster that I will be hanging up and framing after I measure it. And this is the original movie poster. This is fantastic stuff, and the inserts and stuff like that. So this is my Disney. All right. I like the older stuff. Okay. Like I said, probably like 59 back. Sword in the Stone, I'm cool with. Jungle Book, I'm cool with. You gotta love Robin Hood, The Rescuers, and there's been some little sprinkles of good movies around there and stuff. You know what I mean? I saw a lot in the theater, but I had a girl drag me to it. Had Robin Williams. So who do we got here? And Brian LCS, hello. I have DC Comics. Okay, Brian CLS, I don't think you've been around here before. I haven't noticed. Great to see you. I have DC Comics Ambush Bug Trade I found a year ago for $3.99. That's awesome. What do we got here? Love that Killraven run. Amazing stuff. The Library 88. That Starling Killraven cover is iconic. Beautiful Disney Alice book. I have a couple of vintage Disney Alice books. Fantastic stuff. I'm also a Super Goof fan. Super Goof. Big fan of him and not Disney, but Pink Panther. I think it's just a matter of time before Disney gets that. Prime One Collector, the cat in Alice in Wonderland scared me as a kid. The Cheshire Cat, disappearing with nothing but that mouth. Just seems as he was freaky with eyes. Doom Space Marine, wish we all had allies in Arizona. Yeah, that's pretty good, man. And we got the Disney concept design and background artists were so great. Absolutely, man. And thanks to, and then I became really aware of quite a few who those artists were thanks to Pixar in the 90s and stuff. There's a whole thing there. All right, guys, dollar bin time. What we got out of the dollar bin over this last month. Some of these are upgrades. Some of these are replacing things I never should have gotten rid of. Super Goof Forever. That's right, Library 88. Yeah, they're in the bottom box right down there that I have, right? That's from a kid, right? So these are just dollar books, guys. You're not, I don't know if you're going to be blown away if there's anything to talk about here, right? But I sold my Infinity War, Infinity Crusade years ago. I kept my Infinity Gauntlet, of course. You know, I bought all these things when they came out. Infinity Gauntlet started when I was a senior in school, and it was so cool to see George Perez everywhere doing Wonder Woman, doing his War of the Gods crossover. Well, it was supposed to have been more of a crossover event at DC, and then he turns around, he's doing the big crossover event, Infinity Gauntlet, for DC at the same time, even though we just got 3 issues from him, right? And then Infinity War came out. Ron Lim did the artwork, and I sold these. I sold these. Infinity War, Infinity Crusade, I got rid of them. I felt like Infinity Gauntlet was the good stuff. So when I ended up starting to replace these things, I bought a copy of this, got home, it was the strangest thing. The cover was fine. I could probably just pull it out of one of these boxes. The cover was fine, but every page was yellow to dark brown. It blew my mind. I was like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? So yeah, that was, I checked that out before I did that. Neil Gaiman, One Life, Elric. Okay, this is a little bit, it felt like it's autobiographical by Neil Gaiman, but Neil Gaiman wrote a short story about a little kid in school. He gets picked on. His, you know, it's just miserable, apparently going to school in England, if you read Neil Gaiman here. And then one day the boys get a hold of this kid after that he's been humiliated in the shower and embarrassed and things, and the teachers have been watching him. And he's walking down the sidewalk. The boys come up and they pull his tie really tight and they leave him, and he's choking, and he has a vision of Elric talking to him. This is based off of a short story that Neil Gaiman did that has been published in 2 of my books I have. I think it's Smoke and Mirrors and Tales of the White Wolf back in 91. P. Craig Russell just did the straight adaptation of that story in this book. And this is just my second copy because I love the story and I've read it and stuff. And it's one of those things that was Neil Gaiman writing something other than Sandman that ended up in a comic. All right, guys. And then this, right? I will grab these all day long. I did a video on this years ago, 10, 12 years ago, about Tag and Bink. And believe it or not, the creator, back when we would get checked out when this as an actual community, it was much smaller for everybody, but we would have the comic book creators check us out. Now, I pissed off Michael Avon Oming because I didn't finish my sentence saying that people finally came around to his art. But Rubio, the guy that wrote this, contacted me and was like, glad you enjoyed it. So Tag and Bink are dead. Two-issue miniseries. This is the original trilogy, Star Wars through I think Return of the Jedi, maybe. I haven't read them in a while, right? But this is their first appearance. These were actually hot for a little bit, right? But you get to read this story, and this story actually ties in with all 3 of the original Star Wars movies, if I'm remembering right, right? And now you can go and it enhances the movies. You can watch the movies and find Tag and Bink in them. The guy was genius how he put them in here, right? Do you remember when Obi-Wan Kenobi was trying to turn off that force field? He was slinking around the Death Star, and you had those 2 stormtroopers sitting there talking about, I wonder what they're going to do now. They were talking like they were Union boys. That's Tag and Bink. Yeah, that's Tag and Bink with the helmets on, right? And then you remember when Darth Vader got in his fighter, his TIE fighter, and went after the Millennium Falcon himself when everybody not the Millennium Falcon, but when everybody was attacking the Death Star, and he had those two other TIE fighters around him at the end of the movie, it was Tag and Bink. This is actually him walking up on him saying, "Come with me." So yeah, you get to watch how they're in those movies. Okay. So yeah, these first two issues, I got the ones I bought when it came out. I wasn't about to pass those up for $1. Then we come over here, man. Okay. Classic X-Men. All right. I bought these as they came out. Now, issue number 1, okay, was a reprint with expanded stories. They expanded pages. They add pages to it. They have little, in the early years of the classic X-Men, Chris Claremont would come in and John Bolton would draw, and they would either add pages to the original story and or give you a backup feature that took place during that issue. Number 1 reprinted Giant Size X-Men. Number 2, X-Men 94, so on and so forth, right? Art Adams did the covers. John Bolton would do a pinup on the back of it. I think it was John Bolton. And on the inside, you would have extra artwork. And in issue number 1, they had a nice close-up, sexy picture of Storm. So I'm standing in line, 13 years old, with one of my friends at Magic Mart. And I'm like, shoo, look at that. Look what old Art Adams drew. And my buddy didn't say a word, and I hear my mom was behind me going, shoo, yeah, isn't that great? Yeah. So yeah, my mom busted me looking at Storm, you know. Anyway, so as you can see, Art Adams drawing Storm. And this is what I'm talking about on the inside. You get this, right? So somewhere along the line, I had about the first, I had everything all the way through the Dark Phoenix saga, which came to about 36, 37, 38 books. And then all of a sudden they just sort of disappeared. And I've only got a handful, like the first 3 issues and a couple in the 20s, all the Dark Phoenix saga. So I don't know. So I'm having to replace them, which is kind of cool. Steve Lytle covers came in. Great. Number 7, this is actually a key, I guess. Some of these are a little bit rough. Issue 101 of X-Men, reprinted in issue 9, I guess. Dave Cochrum's still on there. Number 11. But this is great stuff. Then we jump way up to issue 55. It looks like this is where Kitty was still called Sprite. And we got a bunch of Sentinels on there. And then we had the Adam Hughes cover, number 79. Adam Hughes did quite a few covers for these. This is issue X-Men 175, where Mastermind is making everybody think that Jean Grey is back and Madeline Pryor is actually getting married to Cyclops, Scott Summers. Paul Smith did the artwork. John Romita Jr. was coming in on the book. He did half the artwork in this. And Mastermind makes everybody think that Madeline Pryor and or Cyclops is actually the Dark Phoenix, and they're freaking out that she's back. Yeah, good stuff, man. Good stuff, right? So I'm assuming, hey, what's up? All right, what we got here? Library 88. Disney concept design and background artists were great. Super Goo Forever. Let's see if it's going to work now. Oh, look at that. It's working. All right. Ollie's, not Ollie's. Hey, guys, maybe in this world, us Appalachian folk, maybe we are the ones that talk correct and somebody else that sounds funny. Nah. We sound funny. Okay. And then we have Paulo Costa. What's up, brother? Great to see you 2 days in a row. Nice to see you. Great Mouse Detective. That's a good one. Right. And then we got Mastermind. Loved that story. Mastermind was one of those guys that actually looked greasy. I mean, he'd look like a 50s degenerate greaser with that creepy mustache and stuff, right? So we got 23 people here. I know y'all just didn't show up for the haul. Okay, so let's get on here, and I want to show you the 2 videos that got me thinking early in the week, right? The first video, all right? Now, let me give you a little background because there's some people here that don't realize this. The legend has popped up. The Great Legend is here. A lot of other people have been here quite a while. But we're going to go back to like 2010, I believe. 2010/11-ish, right? I have moved in with someone, and the place was kind of small, and I had these boxes of comics, and I had a closet in this place that I was moving into with someone, right? So even though there was an extra room and things like that, I wanted to keep it open. So there was a huge closet, and I was putting my books in the closet. So I get on here. The videos are still there. I put number 1 label on the box. I make a video, and it's going to be reference for me. And it was like comic book box number one, so that I could just look on YouTube on my account and I would see what was in those boxes, so I know which one to pull and wouldn't have to dig out. Lo and behold, Captain Strangelove, Constant Bromstar, CTC Spirit, Hulk, God, Cacti 88, 123 Comic Man. I can name off all these original channels and stuff. And I found out, I'm going by memory here, Great Legend was there. I was like I found out there's a comic book community on here, right? A handful of channels. They Can Howlette. There we go. They Can Howlette, Constant Bromstar, Captain Strangelove, Cacti 88. I'm almost positive. Like I said, 123 Comic Man and Captain Strangelove, the Godfather here. And the legend, you were around doing videos, toy hauls, and cooking shows. And I know you were doing some comics and stuff, if I remember right. Correct me if I'm wrong. All right, so that was the comic book community, right? We're talking probably 20 channels, 75 to 80 regular viewers, and we all knew each other. We all talked to each other. We all mailed things to each other, and we all bounced ideas off of each other. And I was like generation 1.5. Like I came in right then because they found me. I was a Kirby guy. You know what I mean? And then a couple months later, we got a whole slew of new people. As years go by, so yeah, I'm one of the few originals still left. There's like maybe three or four of us, I think, right? Uh, and I've been around long enough to where, yeah, I consider myself original. So over the years, we avoided the drama. You know what I mean? That's one of the reasons we survived. You got to understand, we survived Gamergate. We survived things that were going on with communities you have forgot all about, like the atheist communities and things like that. There were other communities. There used to be communities where people would get on here and sing songs and were not able to sing, and then tag people. All right. They were singing things like Kate Perry Alien and stuff like that. And there's always like these communities would always have infighting and go down. So, like, about for 3 or 4 years, we avoided all that. We left this community. Everybody had the same goal: keep it about comics. All right. We all had a good time. We were the first ones to do community roundtables. Right. We started out on Skype with recordings, moved up to Skype. Then you could record on uh, Skype, and you would upload our roundtables. So you had the first crossovers of videos and stuff coming in. We had people like Gail Simone and stuff popping in every now and then. Seriously, we would have comic book creators pop in. They wouldn't do a lot with us. And then all of a sudden it kind of grew from there. And then you had these channels that kind of try to do their own thing, like Moms Read Comics Too, who I found very abrasive. They didn't last. Gamersgate hit. Those people kind of rushed over here and decided they want to be comic book guys because of Gamersgate. Their whole community fell apart and the games went to shit. I put out a video talking about like this place may not be for you because they weren't getting the reactions from people they wanted. They wanted to come over and do the same drama bullshit that they weren't doing. It didn't last. And then, of course, there were many things that happened. It just got too big, too heavy. Some people started, we got people who weren't here to leave it better than it was. You know what I mean? It became a bit more about them. And now we come up through the times and it became Comicsgate, and then the quality of comics went down, and then everything got very political, and a lot of people just bowed out. Some people aged out. Some people had been doing this for 10 years and sticking around. There's a handful of those people that remember what I'm talking about from then, right? And what blows my mind is that we still refer to things as a community, right? You can go look at my older channels. You can go look at some older other channels and stuff, and you'll see that we've had the success. We've had the thousands and thousands of views and things like that, and all the little projects we did to keep people talking and stuff. But it was always centered on comics, no matter what was going on. We just happened to have the personalities or whatever it was. Felt like I had the stories and the comic history and things like that to, have people come on here. And in the midst of all that, you have channels that I think are still around, like Comics Explained. Comics Historian was around for a time. Those were huge channels, but we didn't consider them part of it. They were what you call storytellers. They weren't doing anything original. They were downloading pages of comics. They would have them pan over, and they would pretty much read the comic for everybody. Whatever worked for them, right? And we really just didn't pay attention to them. There was zero drama. And then over the years, the drama hit, Comicsgate hit, comic book creators started acting like asses online, going after fans. Fans ended up would jump in there and went back and forth. And I went back and forth on that, and I actually had a mourning period of watching everything just kind of fall apart for what it was. New people come in, things go on, and it's not a community. We have circles. We have circles. All right. And it just kind of blows my mind how people will come in and they seem to just be oblivious that there's more going on around them and their channel. They're not the center of the channel. That's what kind of gets me, right? And they come up with false drama. We'll put it that way. It is manufactured drama. I can see rivalries between channels going on that are completely, totally um, staged. It's WWE writing and stuff. How would I know this? Because back in the day, I would have channels contact me saying, "Let's do that." Okay. That's how you know that these things, that's how I know these things going on. Being around for as long as I have, I wouldn't say I've seen it all, but I've seen a lot of it. And these things happen in cycles. A lot of the YouTube channels that are here now that are shooting for the views and trying to stick around, you're going to be gone. They'll come around. Okay. All right. I miss Constant Bromstar. We all do, right? And it was that kind of thing that ran a lot of people off, right? But there's two things that kind of got me and it just kind of ran all over me, right? It is what it is out there. Whatever's going on out there, I am so far removed from it that when it pops up in my feed, I'm like, what is going on there? Then I'll have a little talk with Josh and I'll have a little talk with Josh, who's been on the channel before and things like that. I have a little talk with Anderson, my friends in the world, and some of them have not watched any of this stuff, and some of them catch me up on it. Here we go. Yeah, they wanted comic community Qmite. There we go. Yeah, that's what's going on and stuff, right? And it's really sad because some of these channels I see it's really driving them nuts. That you can see that they're not really friends. We all became friends due to comics at one point. You know what I'm saying? But it's not really friends. It's real awkward to watch a bunch of them get together and kind of do a roundtable show and see them. And you're like, they're all just kind of trying to bounce off of each other and get the common goal was for everybody to get views and clicks on their channel and stuff. I'm not quite sure what they're going for. Uh, that's not what I'm getting at. But it's finally started. Then we had before I get to what I'm getting at, and then we had the speculation thing. One of the things that has always been prevalent in comics, and it used to be you would just kind of let it slide because these were the people that would not stick around, for very long, is the speculation market and trying to make everything key. Some of these books have gone up so much and they cost so much money, even though the book value of what they actually are worth. $3 and $4 comics going for $75 to $120 on eBay. It's ridiculous. Okay, they're not going to last long. You're going to, there's already been people dropping out for years, but they still get 10 to 14,000 views a piece for their top 10 books of speculation. Okay, this is the older books that are selling. They're CGC graded. If you don't have the CGC stuff and you don't have the key comics, you're shit. I'm like, yeah, right, okay. And then things like that. This has always been there. You had the 90s boom where everybody thought the death of Superman was going to buy them a house. It blows my mind that a book like Spawn #1 that sold 1 million copies is worth $30 now, or selling that much, and things like that. So there's been some wild stuff for anybody that's been a seasoned collector. I have been doing this since 1977. I've jumped into the thing about keeping up with the value of my books and those keys and stuff for about 6 months in the 90s. I was miserable. And then I would see people realize that their investment in comics, the investment is just not there for them, and they move on. And now we have channels here where they, have the drama where they'll have the thumbnail poster picture where they have their hand over their head and they're like, oh God, my books, 12 books that have dropped in value and things like that, right? And it is what it is. And actually, I've come to where I check out Comic Tom every now and then just to kind of see what everybody's going to go after. And then I can go and get my key books and first appearances because nobody's looking for them, right? That's kind of cool. And I get a kick out of finding books in the dollar bins and showing them because most people seem to be online. So what has happened over the years is that this has been going on long enough with Comicsgate and spec channels and stuff like that, but where people are coming on YouTube and they don't know anything that's been going on in the previous decade. We are in 2025, and I just gave you a bullet point history going back to like 2009 and 8. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, of course they're not going to know it. They can't miss what they never saw. You know what I mean? But then you have the people in the middle who watched all of us act like they don't know anything about it, and then they come on here, right? And you end up getting a bunch of guys sort of like thinking they are the center of some kind of community. You are not a center of a community. You are the center of your channel, and you have a circle of friends, and that's what's happened. The irony is that as it's gotten bigger and more channels have come in, the actual idea of a community has shrunk down to a circle, and it's over whoever you can associate yourself with. And then the bigger channels has all of those people in the circles watching them, and they'll try to do a little clout. They'll throw in their name. We'll do Comic Tom 101. I've seen people, I've got a box of comics from Comic Tom 101, or here's the speculation, or why he's wrong, or the Sticky Goose guy, and things like that, who has fallen, like diversity in comics and all these bigger channels. And that's what I'm getting at. It's kind of like the older you get, right? As you get older, you better prepare yourself, because if you do pop and make it, it's going to go down. Are you going to be here? You know, why do you do this and stuff, right? So this one actually ran across me. Usually I like to hear people get into comics and how they get excited or disappointed by reading things that I wish I could go back and read again. I always say I wish I could read Dark Knight Returns #1 all over again for the first time, and Watchmen for the first time, and have those feelings it gave me, right? And then this kid hit him hard. I would share it, but every time I do, it crashes. I don't know what's going on with the internet. It's got to do with the storm. Everybody's home, and they're snowed in, so everybody's probably on, using up the broadband here, right? But this video is called "The Disgustingly Unapproachable State of Comic Books." Let me get that to focus for you. And as you can see, I made it, see the red line? I made it halfway through the video and had to set it down, because I can't tell if this kid is being fake and using drama to try to get views. 12 days ago, apparently it was uploaded, and he's got 42,000 hits, but he's got 550 subscribers. And it's called "The Disgustingly Unapproachable State of Comic Books." Check out the video, right? But basically what he's getting into is that he's into comics and he wants to read these past events and stuff. And with all the reboots and the number of comics out there and everything like that, he doesn't know where to start, and it seems to be overwhelming. Fair enough. That's kind of cool. But then the irony hits, right? He chooses Civil War as a Civil War, the event of Marvel back in the day, 20 years ago or whatever it is, Bendis led, if you will, of Civil War. And here he is, has the internet at his hands, and he shows all the comics that if he wants to know Civil War, here's all the issues, and here's all the crossover comics, and what is Battle Line and Battlefront and things like that. What does that got to do with Civil War and stuff? The irony is that new collectors that are coming in have the internet at their fingertips to read this stuff and check it out and decide which way to go. They have more resources, or they can just read synopsis and stuff, right? We didn't have that. You know what I mean? You missed a comic book. You just kind of assumed that you would never find it until the day you died, because it wasn't on the spinner rack and you missed it. You had to really struggle and work and get out and physically try to find these books. So the same kid that is complaining about how to get into comics and it's overwhelming and he doesn't know how to do this thing, answered his own question by having the resources to show all these comics in the video. And I'm like, this is just drama to get hits. This is not a real, it's not real. You know what I mean? I'm like, it can't be real. I totally get being overwhelmed and being new. When I started out, it was garbage. It was grocery bags of comic books that my uncle and stepdad had of their collections that they carried around, and all the magazines and stuff. Yeah, I get it. And then all of a sudden, this kid is here in 2025 talking about getting into comics, and in 50 years, there's been tons of more stuff to come in. I get it, but I'm like, you have the resources to get this stuff. You put more work into complaining than just reading. And then this one got me. This one got me. This next one. Let's see if I can find it here. Make sure I get this one right. Yes, be patient with me. I think it's Mint Hunter Collectibles. Let me see if I can find it here. I watched the same day. Now, these came up in my feed. I didn't go looking for these channels. I just kind of like to hear perspectives every now and then. Oh, dear God. Hold on. Anyway, the whole point of the book was that it was a Mint Hunter. He's a big channel, Mint Hunter Collectibles, I think. Mint Hunter. Mint Hunter Comics or something like that. Mint Comic Hunter or something. Oh my God. Hold on. I guess I'm wrong. I do not have it here. But anyway, his video was the top 100 books that he thought were keys and they're not. You hear me about that? He actually came up with 100 books that he says that are not keys and people think they're keys, and they were pretty common books. But I was just sort of like, what? It was things like the green cover of Web of Spider-Man, I think it is, where he has the steel slash diamond spider suit, a bunch of number ones that are just number ones, and he was going down the line, and a lot of those I'm just like, how could those be? How can you have 100 books that you think are keys when you have apps and you have the internet at your fingertips? Uh, I can show you the shelf I have that is nothing but comics buyer's guide and the back of Wizard magazines when they had the price guides and stuff like that, where we had to physically go through these things and try to figure it out. And you have this in your hand and stuff, right? Even the CLZ app now, all you have to do is scan the cover. With your phone and Google, you just scan the cover, it'll take you straight to eBay and stuff, right? So what I'm trying to say is that one of the reasons that I can't believe people still use the word community is because, like, in order to get views and hits and topics, and a lot has already been done going back since what, 2008, 2009, to get the hits and the views and to keep the channel going and stuff like that. Um, Haul videos have gone downhill. I've watched hundreds, if not thousands of them over the years. That's why I rarely do them compared to how I used to do it. I still do them. I still show off the books and talk about them because it's kind of a habit, and every now and then I like to show that, the spec channels will show a $3 book going for $100 and I found it in the dollar bin, right? My God, I found, what was it, Batman 425 or whatever it is, the McFarlane cover. I got it for $1. I got it for $1 about 2 years ago at an antique shop. Things like that. If you go out there and stop shopping online, you can do these things. But that's what it is. Okay. There's people that enjoy these things. This is how they collect. This is the era they grew up. They can't figure out how I used to do things because they weren't around in the 70s, 80s, 90s doing this thing. Shit, some of them weren't even born when the community started. Really, for real. That's how long it's been around. And the same, the community is a habit and stuff, right? So it kind of blows my mind how I'm observing things. You know what I mean? This is what's kind of cool about being on the outside in the bubble, and this is just an observation. And it's not the community. I don't think you have a circle. You have a circle. This is your corner. This is your circle on the playground. Way over here is another group and stuff that you never interact with. But that's my whole point. We used to have a circle that was big. Everybody knew each other. Everybody would talk about who inspired them to start making a YouTube channel, and everybody would cite each other, all the channels and stuff. That was a community, and everybody had the same goal: keep it about the comics. All right, we'll have a little fun here, and yeah, leave it better than it was. And when the drama would come in, now it's like drama. Like, I feel like I'm in a barber shop in a small town somewhere sometimes if I float around too much and start watching topic videos. Now, you got some straight comic videos, channels, where, it's kind of storytelling and telling the history of things, but they do pretty well. The first one pops in my head is Strange Brain Parts. So they're still out there. There's still plenty out there, but I just kind of just cracks me up when people start talking and they're like community, like they're addressing everybody. And no, it's their friends that they're rubbing elbows with. And some of these people aren't even their friends. They're all just kind of, they have the a mutual thing, for a, sort of like for better words, for lack of better words, I got to say it's a little bit of a good old boy club is what we used to call it and stuff, right? And people can sense that inauthenticity. So if you got a video that's popping here and there, good for you. But overall, if your channel's not getting as big as you want it to be, it's because people can sense that. Okay, it used to be they would come for the comics, they stayed for the personality, the stories, or whatever that X factor was. All right, so let's see what we got here. See the comments, and it seems like anytime I do it's ironic, I can sit here and talk about, dodging drama and stuff, but man, if I do, usually when I do just an observation piece like this, and it's not really got a lot of venom, it brings drama. But what can you say? All right, what do we got here? Wow, here we go. Here we go. Okay, see if this it's working. Now, I haven't read any of these as I was talking, so we'll just go down the line, and I'll probably have more to say here. And throw in comments and questions or anything like that. Comic collectors are essentially hobbyists, but some are more passionate than others. Yeah, yeah. I mean, obviously, look, I've stuck around through thick and thin. This '90s were horrible at Marvel, but I'm here. You know what I mean? Like there's been times. Hello, John is saying hello to everybody. All right, here we go. I've been talking a long time. Oh yeah, holy lord, the hands over the face, sad thumbnail of YouTubers is a tad exhausting, ridiculous at the points. Well, it always was. That's what I'm getting at. It's turned cliche. I like things to last, and if there's not an amount of integrity with some of these channels and things like that, they're not going to last. You're a flash in the pan. It's immature, and one of the reasons I was kind of skeptical of people having popular books like Teen Titans and sort of the New Mutants is I reached an age where I realized the audience grows up, but the characters stay the same age. It's really weird seeing guys from 30 to 50 and stuff like that acting like they're in eighth grade. I mean, that's what it comes down to. I don't expect perfection. I don't expect people to be scholars, but there is a point where it's really weird to see somebody acting 13 with drama. You know what I'm saying? We all have our moments. There's appropriate drama, there's appropriate reactions, but yeah. And then we have what cracks me up with these comic experts who don't know much at all about comics, but they cosplay as experts. They are YouTubers, not fans of the medium. Clicks are outrage and feuds. Yeah, and they do. We've always had these guys step in here and do this, and they're transparent. You can tell they're reading off of Wikipedia. They try to come in and validate themselves with some. They have a key comic. And they're like, now that I got this, they act like they have position when they don't, and that's what you can see people struggling to get. You're so transparent; it's embarrassing by this time. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm not quite sure what you're looking for when you come in here. It's not Lord of the Flies here. Whoever has the conch shell is not running the tribe. There's not really a tribe. Like I said, it's just an observation from being here for years. In a year, I could do another one of these, and things could be completely different around here. These people come and go. Ah, Victor Shea, totally. Right. Palo's been around for a while. He knows. He has a real good idea what I'm talking about. I'm sure. First time, and I'm not saying he's agreeing with me. I'm just saying when I talk about the history of the community, Palo has seen it. First time I saw Reggie Collects, I got into comics 9 months ago. Who are you to tell people what to buy? Exactly. That's what I'm getting at. Exactly. You're. Oh, if you're overwhelmed with Marvel and is that the channel? No, okay, Reggie Collects. I think I know who you're talking about. If you're overwhelmed with Marvel and DC, just try something else. Getting stuck into a brand for force of habit just limits your enjoyment of comics. Exactly. Comics has there is so much out there and so many genres and so many age levels that you got from the comic book to the graphic novel, right? You have from garbage comics to the pristine stuff. Funny animals, talking animals, sci-fi, horror, westerns, everything is out there. The best thing you can do is just get a sample of this. Don't spend a lot of money. Comic books are very it can be a private experience. It's you and the comic in a room. All right. Okay. Everything you have is right in front of you. Right. That's why it's kind of funny. Another thing to say community and stuff. But the good thing about it is that it can make a community because if I read, okay, my first X-Men book that I read when I was 4 was X-Men number 3 from the 60s, early 60s, first appearance of the Blob. Okay. Positive, right? That was the stepdad's book. I read that book in, we'll say I was 5, 1978, right? I'm having the same experience he had in 1964, I think. I don't know. I'm having the same experience that he had 14 years before that. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? Different decades, different times, but thanks to that print and everything that's there, we're having the same experience. Now we have something to talk about. Age goes out the window. You see what I'm saying? It's all about that book. Here we go. Mint Hunter Comics. There we go. Yes, yes. So that's what I'm trying to get at. The 100 books that people think are not keys. I don't get it. And it's not an age thing. It's not a dinosaur thing. But No, I just can't buy stuff like, and if you and if it's that bad, then this isn't for you. Move on to something else. That's what gets me, you know. Yeah, I missed a bunch of issues as a kid because they were sold out the spinner rack. Yeah, and back then in a small town when you did not have a comic book shop, you were like, "That's it. I got to borrow this off of a friend. I got to find somebody that does it." But you did have the same thing with television. You know what I mean? You missed an episode and you were like, "Well, that's it. I'm dead if they don't rerun it. I'm you know, if I don't see it before the summer hits and the new show comes out in the fall, that's it. I'm dead. I'll be dead and not know what happened." Yeah. Oh man, I love the comics buyer guide. Those old ramshackle mail order ads were glorious. There we go. Like I said, I got a whole shelf here, but the table is up against it and stuff, right? Um, did comics back in the okay, JP Fawn, did comics back in the 80s, for instance, have better marketing? I remember from the Crisis event in the back of the title previews where the Crisis events were shown, there was better ways to guide you. You had to be in the book, and they would, you know, the back of Crisis on Infinite Earth, if I'm remembering right, would give you an idea of what to read. If you got who's in the DC universe, the back page would tell you where those characters were appearing and stuff, right? You had to work it. Okay, there's little editorial notes. I remember when Blue Devil got sucked into a wormhole when the Justice League satellite was blowing up, and the Atom was inside the red tornado, and all hell broke loose. The editorial blob said to see where Blue Devil is going, see Blue Devil number 18. Things like that. You had to pay attention to it. As simple as some plots in comics were to just tell the story stuff, they still didn't treat you like an idiot, you know. Oh man, where do we go? Here we go. Here we go. Current comics marketing is just print. The things let the shops figure it out. Current comic marketing is just print the things, let the shops figure it out. Yeah, yeah. Compared to what it used to be, letter columns, editorials. It used to be next issue, also see, and then we'll return here, blurbs in the back of it. There were all kinds of ways to know what was going on. Star Secret Wars 2, okay, Infinity Gauntlet and stuff like that. They started putting in the corner box of a comic, Secret Wars 2 crossover. Legends, that crossover in the 80s actually would have the number chapter Legends chapter 1, chapter 2 crossover all the way through all the books, so you knew what order to read them. So yeah, there was a lot of things. More Like Massacre gave you a whole page, an ad, a full page ad with the pipes with arrows showing you what books to read or how you can go back and forth with them. So yeah, you had to work it. The library, strange brain parts is great. Yes, he is great. And the other thing about it is that 95% of the time he's on point. And when you have people, and I am going to say like me, who have done comics for a long time and they're very familiar with a lot of history. When he does make a mistake, it runs all over me just because the guy's capable. You know what I mean? Like, you should have known better. Your strange brain parts. I'm not a fanboy of the channel, but I'm just saying I appreciate that he's there. You know what I mean? Exactly. I remember back in the day, comics were filled with ads. With ads, even the hostess ads were ads. Absolutely, it was a lot of fun. A lot of those ads made the comic book feel like a comic book. Most new channels are about speculation. Is why I love Captain Strange Life the most. Oh, Parker, what's up, brother? I get I get lost just looking at his stuff. You can tell he loves the hobby. Yeah, yeah. And I've gone back and forth looking at his stuff. I'll take a break and then I'll end up binging a bunch of things like that. But at the end of the day, he started this, and he is the Godfather. And I feel like every channel that comes along should at least acknowledge him, or not lay themselves at the altar of Captain Strangelove, but at least know that the reason you have an audience waiting for you is that it started building right there. You know what I mean? That's what I'm getting at. Like the people that are watching this right now, um, Captain Strangelove. Just 20 people know, 25 people know, things like that, and it can go from there. Remember Phil Captain Cummins reading off Wikiscriptopedia? Yeah, and yeah. And this is like this guy here that has been mentioned here, right here. Oh my God, not even a footnote in the history of Comicsgate, the Howler Mouse channel, nor the comic book community that was. Not even a footnote anymore. Yeah, that's the one person that just go on. There's so many great collections out there. How I like the recent Atlas material, Joe Mainley. What a great time to be a comics fan. Victor Shade. Yeah. And what gets me is that there's facsimile editions, ECW, EC collections. They've just put out Crisis on Infinite Earths all over again, month by month. What was it? They were doing Secret Wars also month by month. They're talking about these other things are going. I remember Dan Didio getting very mad. I want to say it was around 2019, but I might have been way back before that. But they started putting out facsimile editions. He's at some kind of convention talking to retailers or something. I don't know. But anyway, he asked how did everybody like the facsimile editions, and everybody clapped. Those facsimile editions had outsold new comics, and he gave a lecture about how we need to move forward. Uh, Now, Dan Didio did a lot of great stuff at DC. I don't care what anybody says, not his writing, okay, but the decisions that he made all the way up to Blackest Night and a few things like that. But this was also the guy that wanted to kill Dick Grayson, one of the most historical figures in comics history. It had to be talked down by Mark Waid and a few people. He always had a thing about wanting to kill Dick Grayson, the first teen sidekick hero. I don't get it. All right. Yeah, well, here we go, man. Like I said, if you want me to go on or keep going, just give me I've got a few things to say, but if you want me to touch on something, put it in here. The popularity and success of the inauthentic channels soured my opinion of YouTube, and I stopped making as many videos. Yeah, and what happens is, and this is the thing. Okay, I'm going to stop right here for a second. This is why these things are important. Anybody, if this is my channel, at the end of the day, I can put whatever I want on it as long as I don't break terms of service. Anybody in the world can go out there and do whatever they want on their channel, right? But when you start using words now like community, there is this idea. It projects the idea that you are part of these other comic book channels, because at the end of the day, unfortunately, we all are in the same boat because this is such a niche hobby at the end of the day, right? All right. You use that word and then you get out here and you don't know what the hell you're doing, what you're talking about, or you're trying to be inauthentic and stuff. It 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 sours the whale. These other people will get on here and it makes people like, damn, if this is what people think we're doing, I don't want to be associated with this. I lost some viewers when I can proclaim, don't bring that comic book nerd talk, labels of nerd and geek and stuff. Don't bring them over here. All right. I had people that got angry and they would pop up just to tell me, yes, we get it. You're not a nerd. And I was just sort of like, ignore that, go on and stuff like that. Right. So yeah, when these inauthentic people come over here and they do that, they think that's what we're all doing. That gets to some people, and that also kind of shocks other people when they play around on YouTube. Uh, Unfortunately, that's it. But again, it's a double-sided sword. They can do whatever they want on their channel. You know what I mean? But this is just kind of giving you a heads up of a headache that could pop up. Let me see. Love Joe Manley, love Timely and Atlas Era. There we go. A problem today in collecting comics and is a short attention span. Kids today don't have the patience or focus to hang in there and just enjoy what's in your possession. And that's why I'm saying this isn't for them. The truth is time is not on our side on this, right? This is not going to last forever, right? Look at vinyl records. They pretty much disappeared at one point, and now they actually saved part of the music industry with them coming back. I can see stuff like that happening. But all in all, comics are not going to continue to be published, at some point. We'll just put it that way. I have a decade in mind where it's all going to stop. But that's not what we're here for. And I don't have a crystal ball, but it's an educated guess. Now, as far as the attention span, that's just it. Comics, I was an ADHD kid before they had that term. You were hyper, is what they called it, and they would put you on Ritalin. I was on Ritalin, and you turned into a zombie. And then eventually they got me off the Ritalin pretty quick because I'm sitting in a kindergarten class when half of us are zombies while we're watching Sesame Street. And it would be 2 teaspoons of coffee would be my medicine. The caffeine would calm me down, right? And even I could slow down and read comics. I would stay up for 2 days in a row, a couple times a month. I was so hyper. Okay. Which explains why I probably run my mouth so much and stuff on here and can keep going and going and going. But even I could have the attention span, right? But like that's what I'm trying to say. I have an 18-year-old stepkid, right? I have a 26-year-old son and things, right? They didn't grow up. We didn't grow up with what they had. We had video games, short videos on MTV. If you got MTV in '85, a lot of things that were just like kind of quick and stuff like that, right? But at the same time, Harry Potter books were out there. Kids, there was a resurgence in kids reading thanks to Harry Potter. So yeah, they need to move on. It's just not for them, or they need to find something that gives it a chance. You know what I mean? And that's why I'm saying one of the reasons I'm making this video, stop using the word community. You're just trying to get some kind of drama going or a clicky type thing. Do what you need to do, but think about it. You know what I mean? Oh, here we go. Yeah, comics in the 80s and early 90s was a smaller world. It was damn near quaint. Pre-internet times were magical. This is Library 88. Ads, events. You could keep track of it even if you missed something, right? Yeah. Yeah. We all knew about the Age of Apocalypse that came out 30 years ago. I'm going to eventually do a video on it, but I would love to find somebody who actually read it when it came out and be more knowledgeable than I. But yeah, it was great to actually have a comic book shop that I could find and actually hang out and talk to people and flip through comics without having to buy them all, decide if I want to buy it or not. To be able to talk with people who were like-minded, find out their experience. And then the only thing I kind of regret is when I finally started going to conventions, Heroes Con. Back then, it took 3 hours to drive to Charlotte. I would go on Sundays. You would park in a dirt parking lot across the road. That's what it was back then. Now it's a huge convention center. Good luck with parking and finding a room and stuff. And I would go in there because everybody would have their comics on sale because they didn't want to pack them back up. I regret not taking the advantage of that to see all the great creators were there. Mark, Grant Moore, Neil Gaiman. I find these programs from Heroes Con with signatures on them from the 90s and stuff in dollar boxes. And it blows my mind who was there when I was there. That's what I'm trying to get at. I've missed seeing all kinds of people that are no longer with us in the 90s. So yeah, there's regrets, I guess. I like the Andrew Buckle channel, Englishman enthusiast with all kinds of comics. There's a guy who I think it says something. There's a channel I sort of like. For a brief second, I commented on his channel and stuff when he went to Heroes Con from England, still 35 cents, something like that. I wonder if that's he seemed to be an all right channel. I should have subscribed. I found this guy from Finland called Analog Comics, talks about big variety of European comics in English. See, I need that. I need that. You feel free to message me a link to his channel. You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. They're still out there, but he got even madder in 2020 when DC ran him. Eric Breen, Dan Didio. Yes, yes. The history of Dan Didio is just fascinating. It really is. And the fact that he ended up with Frank Miller Presents that came and went pretty quick. I love Dan Didio on that Phantom Stranger book he did during the New 52 Great Legend show. Yeah, well, you're a Phantom. What are you, Captain Marvel, Phantom Stranger fan to begin with? Absolutely. I have his Ohm Activate. I got every issue, and I got the trade right there of his that he did with Keith Giffen of Ohm Activate. Dan Didio, at the end of the day, is a Silver Age, Bronze Age Marvel fan. And when he wrote Omactivate, I don't know about his Phantom Stranger, but when he OMAC, he used the word Omactivate to turn into OMAC. It was very Hulk-like, from the Bronze Age and stuff. Yeah. But at the end of the day, Dan Didio was a Marvel fan. Okay, Parker Rizzo, love that Born Again review. Gore Vidal and I yesterday did a fantastic in-depth review of Daredevil Born Again. I'm so glad you liked it, Parker. How many new channels can review that run in the detail you and Paolo did? Paolo was in the comments. It was Gore Vidal that did it. They can just tell you what the key book is. Right, that's what I'm getting at. There's a part of this where you got to have a passion for the comics and read them. And it doesn't matter to me if you're honest about it. I started reading 6 months ago. And this is the book I read, and I want to talk about it because this was fantastic, right? That's good enough. You don't have to have unless you're trying to brag. I saw this one guy years and years ago, and he actually has kind of had a big channel. He sat there and did a whole video where you see him, and fast forward, he got in the background over here, and he started going through his comics, and he was counting them all in front of you, and he went, "I got 1,800 comics." And I was just sort of like, "That's cute," you know. I'm like, no, that's not what this is about. The number of comics, you can have 1,000 comics and not be an expert in comics, but you could have 6 comics on the Flash and do a little research, and you can know the Flash. You know what I'm saying? Hey, Ponaditas, what's up? There we go. Good to see you, man. All right, Victor Shade and Andrew Buckles, a good channel. Nice. I need to write these down, but I have absolutely nothing to write on. Feel free to message me. Go to Instagram, Howler Mouse. Message me some of these channels, please. Like I said, I have nothing here to write with. I didn't even expect this to happen. Yeah, Andrew Buckles, a good channel at Palo Costa. I just check Analog Comics channel. Great. He means gore. Absolutely, Parker. You got it. You got it. Yeah, so yeah, check out the live show yesterday of Born Again. We had a fantastic time. I've still got the issues out. Oh man, I still have to read Authority. Yeah, I think it holds up. So guys, we have 24 people here, and what I do is I consider you guys our circle. You are in our circle. Then there's people who will check in and watch this later. They may not be subscribed. They may never ever commented. They might have watched a lot of my videos, but never commented or whatever like that. And they got their line in the circle, and that's fine and stuff like that, right? But from this point on, I highly doubt that on purpose. I've said the term community since about 2010, I do believe, and we're in 2025. That it's just part of the speech. That original community, with a lot of things that are said in these comic book videos, we came up with the terminology. Okay. I personally hold, I'm the guy here that came up with the Holy Grail, and it just kills me to see people the term Holy Grail when it comes to comics, and it kills me when I see people using it incorrectly. Holy Grail. So we came up with the language, is what I'm trying to get. A lot of the things you hear, community is part of that language. So from here on out, I'm not going to refer to it as a language. I think Brian LCS is here and stuff, right? He runs the and comment if you're here, man. He runs the God, what was it? It pissed me off there the first year or two he did it. He runs the comic book community awards. Nobody's mad about the awards. Everybody is mad that you try to say it's the comic book community when it's not. You're not inclusive of everybody out there. It's your circle that you guys put in there, right? And that's what it is, right? So from here on out, I'm not going to use the word community, but it's going to slip every day because I've said it for 15 years. I'm only human. And I think that is fair because truth matters. The realistic view of what's going on YouTube matters. And that also keeps me from being associated in the oddest ways with other channels and stuff, right? The other thing is there is a rise in videos, at least in my feed. I think Don Comic Book Junkie was the last one I saw, but I saw 2 or 3 videos before that when I get to sit down and binge where they're talking about this community sucks and everything like that, right? And I'm like, it's not a community anymore. You know what I mean? That's what I want to yell. You know, you have your circles of friends and stuff, right? That's what's so cool about kind of stepping back over the years. About 2016, things started going to shit. Thanks to the change in comics, the people working in comics, how things got all political. They called them SJWs back then. I don't know what the fuck they call them now, but it's finally dying down and things like that. It really did a wave of destruction. People who do comic book videos are reactionary, whether we like it or not. We can recommend things, but we have to read them first. We got to have that product, right? I get this stuff second, third hand, right? All the stuff you see, very, very little of it is actually brand new. You know what I mean? When you look at everything I have, right? So when there are shitty books coming out and people want to get those reviews about the new stuff that's coming out, young people, and I was one of them. You want the new music. You want your own culture. You don't have those words, but you want things new and forward and now and stuff. Not that old stuff sometimes. You get that knowledge and experience as you get older in general. There's always exceptions to that, right? But you can only put out what's there. And another reason a lot of these channels went away and a lot of the views and stuff went with people and people quit watching is because the quality of the books went down. And that would just make people angry. There's great stuff out there. Yes, there's great stuff out there, but there's not enough of it, you know. A comic book that got praised for selling 10,000 to 15,000 issues, uh, that's turned, things got so bad that that's considered, um, that's considered great. You know what I mean? Like, that's great. When a comic book in the 80s got below 10,000 in sales, it was time to cut it, if I'm remembering right. 100,000, 10,000, 100,000. I think it was 100,000. Sorry, guys, a lot of history and I'm old, right? But I think it was 100,000, right? 100,000 in sales. And that's typically what almost every Marvel comic actually sold if it wanted to continue to be. A book sells that. Now I've seen sales going for 18,000 a month years ago. I remember I went and saw Scott Connor back in 2016 or something like that. I went and watched Iron Maiden concert, and they announced there was 18,000 people in the auditorium watching them, and it really popped in my head. This is how many people are reading a comic book series. I was every month. Oh my God, that's pathetic. So yeah, I'm gonna try to refer to it as circles. This is just for people that if I get out there, yeah, my circle of friends, the circle of people who watch this, the circle of people I associate with on YouTube, right here, Palo. You know what I mean? We message every now and then. We talk here every now and then. We get on a show every now and then. If you read the first 12 issues of Warren Ellis and Brian Hitch, you have a full story. The follow up by Mark Miller is not good. I think the quality goes up and down with it. But overall, I'm with Palo. I recommend the Warren Ellis stuff. Okay, Mark Miller, you either like Miller or you don't. Okay, there's one or two things he did for shock value in there, no doubt about it. But I also get to finish the series also. See, this is what I'm saying. This is our circle here. You know what I mean? This is our circle here, right? And I really suggest you kind of think of it more like that. I think the whole idea of community disappoints a lot of people when they get out here and they see the reality. People would come in here. I think it was Sleepy Reader. I think I actually remember one of the first videos Sleepy Reader 666 did. And I remember him saying that he watched the conversation and wanted to be part of the conversation. So he started his channel. And I remember a video specifically where he was talking and he was getting into the comics and he caught himself stumbling for a second and said, Howler Mouse makes it look so easy. And that's why or something like that, right? It wasn't a compliment. It was the fact that he jumped in there and he stuck with it and he got, when you have the experience of making the video, it's a little bit of a reality check to keep going and stuff, right? So people come in thinking they're going to be part of a big community and then they end up making videos of like, this community sucks, right? So I think maybe it's just the frame of mind to keep this going, right? I love the YouTube comic book videos, right? I'll come and go with them. There's certain videos I can't watch anymore and stuff, but there's all I have to do is wait, and all of a sudden there'll be a whole new resurgence, right? Problem is that they're not becoming as unique as they were, and they're turning into drama, and they're turning into manufactured drama and things like that, right? That's not going to last. See, that's just it. That's not going to last, and that's why I'm just kind of talking about this in general, right? Oh God, everybody out there is just doing drama and manufactured drama, right? Well, in this circle, nah. You know what I mean? It's okay. Any drama that pops up is not invited. It happens. You deal with it. You move on. It's not. It's more how you react to things and what's out there, right? And this is my answer to reacting to it. This is on my mind. I want to get it out there. A lot of people are in the same train of thought here, and everybody in here that is putting in. See, I kind of wished I'd made retitled do a video where like talk about your favorite comic book channels. Who are those comic book channels that are being ignored? They need more people watching their channels, the ones that really talk about it, and they've already started here, right? We need more of that because that's what we used to do. When I popped up on YouTube, I will never forget Constant Bromstar coming out on his channel saying, we got a new one. We got a new one. It's Howler Mouse, and he's a Kirby man. So happy to see a Kirby man in there about it, right? Those were good times, guys. And the videos are probably still there, except for Bromstars. Here we go. I did love the Frank Quiley art during Miller's run. There we go. Maybe that's more why I warmed up to it, because Art Adams came in and did an issue or two, I think, there towards the end. Also, Chris Weston, I like his stuff. And the art is the best part. There we go. Palos on it. After Ellis carefully constructed character personalities, Miller's writing seemed pedestrian. Got you. Got you. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. All right, guys. So I can just keep talking in circles and circles about this. Um, but yeah, like I said, it's just something that popped in my mind. Those two videos, like I said, people can do what they want on their videos, and I've done some stupid stuff on here. I've taken some chances, tried to expand, but to sit there and complain about thinking that everything here is a community. I think you just got to change your train of way you think of it. Okay. You are building your audience. Your audience could turn into your circle of like minded people, of collectors. And that's the way to think about it. And what it turns in from there, that's what it is, right? It's not a community. I watched the community turn into neighborhoods in the community. These guys stuck around, but they knew about these guys, and now it's not even that it's got too big this time. It's that the goals of people, everybody, we used the word like-minded, everybody had the same goal. Okay, let's make a great place to talk about comics come first, dodge the drama. Those days are over, and it's completely flipped. It seems like there's a lot of channels that want the drama first, the greed first, the speculation. And that's what I'm trying to say. Speculation isn't a dirty word, but it's turned into that. All this stuff was part of the hobby. I remember when people were like, "Oh, you're a dirty flipper." I'm like, "What? What?" No, it used that I paid for a lot of these comics by selling comics. You know what I mean? Flipping them. That was part of the hobby and stuff, right? So, it's all about moderation. And the other thing is apparently I was made aware of, I haven't really seen it, that there's a faction that apparently, allegedly, supposedly, I've yet to have the videos sent to me because I asked for them. If you're watching, I won't throw your name out there. I'm still waiting, but I'll go ahead and address it. Basically, apparently there's this judgment of your collection. Oh no, that's stuff that is something that definitely needs to be squashed. Apparently, if you do not have the CGC comics, if you do not have nothing but keys or a majority of keys or whatever it is, this is a totally alien concept to me, right? The only thing I ever had a little bit of judgment about is, do you have a variety? I feel like a great collection has a variety in it. Okay. Um, and then also over the years, I've talked about that niche group that I've always run into or seen at comic book conventions and stuff, where they just collect Supergirl. That's it. All right. There's some people, they just collect the Daredevil. Some people just collect John Byrne. They're still Steve Ditko nuts. They got rid of their collection, but they kept the Steve Ditko stuff. That's still a cool collection. You know what I mean? There's a story behind that, right? But now apparently there's like some kind of judgment to where people get harassed or trolled or ran off YouTube, supposedly. I'm still waiting to see this. And I hope it's not true, because their collection doesn't have those things. They don't have the key books, and they don't have the CGC stuff. So, it's they get harassed. I don't know. I don't know. So anyway, we're going to leave it at that. Let me see what we got here. We're going to read this last comment and call it a day. 2018, it all died as community, and you're right. It's a circle of people who still follow you and care about what you have to say. And I think that is what's going to keep your sanity. Okay. I think that's what's going to keep a relationship going with relationships with people. All right. Is to be realistic about what we have here, because in truth, what we have here is a great thing. We are still able to come on here, right? This is coming from a guy from the pre-internet days, all right? And oh hell, even the pre-YouTube days, okay? But we have the ability to more or less find each other, find these channels, find these like-minded people, find things that you will not find on any TV show or movie to talk about, all right? And we don't want to screw it up. That's the whole deal, right? And part of screwing that up is if too many people uh if too many people just make it all about the greed and 100% greed and all about the drama and things like that, that reputation filters out there because we're all about comic books and stuff, right? So I think saying circle keeps you from being associated with community. You know what I mean? Never thought I'd see a day that it flipped. Everybody wanted to build a community, leave it better than they found it. You know what I mean? Really grow it. It's a great thing and stuff. And a few people came in and ruined it for everybody. And now it's completely flipped. One of the worst things to be associated with now is to call it a community, in my opinion, right? You use that word community, people feel like you're leaving people out that you've never heard of making videos. Yeah. So welcome to the circle, guys. This is the circle of Howler Mouse here. If I go to your channel, it will be the circle of Palo. You know what I mean? The circle of this, the circle of that. And then like a Venn diagram, I think all those circles can connect. Isn't it just great? This is about as hippie as you'll ever hear me get, guys. Okay, so we have a great thing. It's going to survive, but we still have to take care of it a little bit, right? So join me in that type of thinking there, right? Welcome to the circle. And Donald Trump fan club, what up? What is up? So yeah, go to this guy's channel here. He's on all the time doing live shows, man, and join his circle. You know what? That's great. Yeah. All right, the golden ratio. So yeah, as far as community goes, I'm out, but I'll be part of everybody's circle that wants me there. Right. Later, guys. Be excellent to each other. Enjoy the rest of your weekend here. That's going to last a few more hours. All right. Later, guys. Oh yeah, thumb it up, like it, subscribe, share it, let people talk, whatever. Later, guys. Thank you.